What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Before we get this one started, I just want to say we hit 20,000 subscribers on the channel and I am just over the moon, humbled, grateful, and just super proud of this community. I have a fun little surprise for you guys celebrating this entire milestone, but we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Saloni Verma. I'm a biomedical engineer currently in upstate New York. I have studied at Harvard Medical School. I've done my master's at Cornell University. And I don't feel like I'm doing too bad for myself. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the scholarships on one of the most awaited colleges that all of you guys went crazy in the comments. So today's video is going to be all about Harvard University. So Harvard University, it's the big fish out there, and I know like almost every single student has dreamt of studying at Harvard University, wearing its prestigious logo and its title, carrying it throughout your life. It is definitely a dream come true, especially when the acceptance rate of a college is just 4.6%. But you know what? The cost to study at Harvard University is close to $50,000 per year, and if you're doing an undergraduate degree, that's going to put you close to $200,000. Now honestly, with $200,000 you can literally buy a house in Texas. So the question of financial aid and scholarship really plays a big role no matter what degree you're doing, whether it's an MBA, it's an undergrad, a 2-year graduate degree, or even a PhD. So let's talk about what Harvard has to offer. So while the goal of every single student out there is to get into Harvard and get this exceptional education, it's sad to say that approximately 19% students last year had to turn down their offers because they couldn't afford to study at Harvard. And of the ones that did, more than 50% of the students are dependent on some form of financial aid or another to actually afford their education in this prestigious school. So I'm not going to go into the details of how you can actually get admitted into Harvard because I already made a video about that. So if you guys are interested in how to build your profile, what you can do to stand out, and how you can get admission, check out my other playlist and all my other videos. But in this video, I'm going to touch base on some of the best scholarships that Harvard has to offer. After you get admitted, what can you do to make sure you can afford this world-class education? We are going to talk about two main things: what kind of scholarships Harvard has to offer, and what kind of student employment can you actually get on the Harvard campus so that you can sustain yourself as a student. So the first one we're going to talk about are need-based scholarships. Whether you're an international student or a US citizen, it basically doesn't matter. What they look at is your family income and your assets, and depending on that, they determine what your eligibility is for the amount of the need-based scholarship that you can get. So basically, you have financial aid officers from Harvard that actually work with you once you're accepted to determine how much of this scholarship you're eligible to get. Now in this, there are two things that you need to keep in mind. While you're filling out your Harvard application, you have to make a CSS profile, and after that you have to do something called create an IDOC packet. So the CSS profile basically asks you different questions to determine and kind of get an understanding of what your family's financial situation is like. And after you create the CSS profile, only then can you move ahead and create the IDOC packet. The link to where you can do this and actually create the CSS profile is going to be in the description below, so you guys can check that out if you need to. So once you're admitted and you have this scholarship, you do need to renew your scholarship every year by just updating information on your CSS profile. Maybe your family's financial situation changes here and there, so that's where you actually show what changes happened. So make sure you update that to ensure that you retain the scholarship each year round. Now this kind of scholarship, the whole need base that I spoke about, is applicable for undergrad students, graduate students, MBA, PhD, medical, everything. So make sure you do this at the time of your application. Now that we have this need-based scholarship out of the way, which is basically the biggest scholarship that Harvard provides, let's take a look at some of the degree-specific scholarships that are out there and what you can do to obtain them. So the scholarship that we're going to talk about next is for MBA, all the MBA students out there. It's the Robert Kaplan Life Sciences Fellowship. Now this is a special fellowship that is awarded to 10 incoming students each year with $20,000. That's a ton of money. Basically for students who show an interest in pursuing MBA in the life sciences discipline. I mean, you know what? This sounds super interesting. Like honestly, even I might apply for this. But anyway, the MBA program at Harvard costs $73,000 per year and a 2-year degree. Like, oh my God, that is a ton of money. So it makes sense why they have this fellowship, and especially to motivate students to pursue, you know, the business route or the business career after they have some sort of a life sciences degree. So if you guys want to check this out, this is definitely a cool one to check out for all those prospective MBA grads that are watching this video. So coming to how you actually apply for this scholarship, there's no special application. As soon as you fill out your actual online application to the college, you're automatically selected and applied in the pool to be considered for this fellowship. Now the things that you need to watch out for are making sure you have relevant experience in the life sciences discipline, make sure your CV is great, you have great essays, LORs, a killer like application profile, all of that to make sure you really set a good impression on the admissions committee. Now with all of this said, this is where I come in. I offer personal one-on-one mentorship programs to students literally all across the world, where I guide you guys through, you know, building resumes, giving you guys career advice, helping you with your college application wherever you're from. So if you guys are interested in knowing more details about that, there's going to be a free sign-up form in the description below, so check that out. Now I'm just going to quickly go over some of the other scholarships that are offered for MBA degree at Harvard Business School. These include the Junior Achievement Fellowship, the Goldsmith Fellowship, the Forward Fellowship, the Canadian Fellowship, and many more. Links to all of these different fellowships are going to be down in the description box for you guys to check out. The next scholarship that we're going to talk about is for all of my medical students out there who want to do a medical degree in the United States. Harvard Medical School also provides need-based scholarships, but it's slightly different because it's called the Dean's Reach Scholarship Award Program. So a lot of students miss out on this because they aren't able to find it. I'm going to leave the link to this scholarship in the description below. So the motive behind this program was, again, any student who's admitted into the Harvard medical program should be able to attend the university without any financial restraints. So they really want to make sure that you can afford to come here and get the best education in the world. Now to apply for this particular scholarship, in addition to filling out your CSS and your IDOC portal, which is basically, again, financial aid and tax stuff aside, you have to fill out an application called the Harvard Medical School Financial Aid Application. I'm going to leave a link to that portal in the description below, so make sure you sign up, you fill out that separate application along with your actual Harvard Medical School application to be considered for this scholarship. So Harvard Medical School is able to provide a ton of scholarships to almost every single student who joins because there are so many alumni, trustees, and donations out there. So with this said, I'm going to name a couple external scholarships that you guys should check out if you're applying to the Harvard Medical School. So now I'm going to move on to the student employment section of this video. Now let's say you get accepted into Harvard. There are a ton of things that you can do on campus, which include things like getting part-time jobs, research assistantships, teaching assistantships, and there's no shame in that. The best part is international students are all eligible to do this. You can work for up to 20 hours per week on campus, and you can very easily make $10,000 to $20,000 per year. Now this is a good amount of money which can go either towards your living expenses or as part of your tuition fee. So make sure that you're aware of all these details. I've done an entire video on this topic already, so feel free to check that out. So I'm not going to go into super details there, but essentially as far as Harvard is concerned, they have something called a student program handbook where they list all the contact information to actually get these part-time jobs. So you can browse through that and reach out to different admission boards or departments involved in the whole process just to see what opportunities are available at what time. And also don't forget to check out the Student Employment Office website, because that's where they post all of the important stuff like announcements, immediate hiring for open positions. So all of that is good to know, if you're on the eye out and a lookout for a part-time job. All right, guys, so that kind of concludes all the scholarships and financial aid that Harvard has to offer. But I thought before I end this video, I'd like to give you guys some tips that are actually useful before you start your scholarship search. Now, the number one thing I want to mention is discover who you are. There are so many scholarships that have a different eligibility criteria. So one, maybe see if there are certain scholarships for your country. If you're located in Canada or India or whatever citizenship you hold, there's a good chance that there are scholarships for those specific criterias. The reason I say this is because the broader the scholarship is, the more people are going to apply and the less the chances you actually get it. So if you look at these directed scholarships, which you are a candidate for, you'll have a better chance of actually acquiring that money and getting selected from the smaller pool of students. A couple of examples here are, there are a ton of opportunities and scholarships available for women in STEM, female underrepresented communities, your geographic locations, especially if you're trying to pursue a degree in a specific area. So all of those things are definitely on the table, so definitely check that out. The next tip is you should have a predetermined time of how much effort and time you're going to put into your scholarship search. You don't want to just keep going on and on because the search can literally be endless. Have a time frame in mind and a timeline by which you want to be able to start and stop your scholarship search. The most important thing here is to be organized. If you do find scholarships that you're applicable for, make a spreadsheet with deadlines, requirements, and important notifications so you don't miss out on anything. Because you're applying to so many colleges, so many scholarships, nobody expects you to remember all of this in your head. It's easy to forget. Having a spreadsheet and being organized is the least that you can do, and it'll just make your life a lot simpler. Have your application ready to go. Before you reach out and start your scholarship search, make sure you have these important documents all set to go. Transcripts, resume, letters of recommendation, and in all of these documents that you have ready, make sure your grammar, your spelling check, everything is all set. Now, this is a mistake I've seen international students make a lot. Because English isn't typically our first language, we tend to oversee small things like grammatical checks, formatting, and these things play a big role when sending it out to a person whose first language is English. So make sure you have everything, because let's say you're just having a chat with someone about scholarship and they ask for your resume. You don't want to leave them hanging for a week and be like, well, yeah, I'm gonna make my resume and make these changes and then I'll come back to you. No, you want to make sure that you keep that conversation going. So have all of these documents ready to go. If you need help proofreading, if you need help formatting, taking another set of eyes to look at it, have your friends do it, have your family do it, reach out to me. This is one of the things I offer in my mentorship program as well. I'd be happy to do it for you. And the last part is show gratitude. This goes a long way in making sure you don't burn bridges and you have healthy relationships and connections with anyone you interact with. No matter how big or small, if someone is offering advice, if someone is offering you a path forward, or just taking the time to honestly even respond to your email, you need to be thankful to them. That goes a long way. It shows how appreciative you are as a person, and it just adds that, nice little human touch. And that's about it. That is going to conclude the tips that I had for all of you guys. I know this video is running a little long, but I hope that every piece of advice in this video was useful to everyone watching. Before we end, I want to give a huge shout out and a big thank you for all of you guys who have made it possible for us to reach 20,000 subscribers on the channel. I did not think we would get this far. This is amazing. To celebrate this milestone, I'm gonna do a live stream next Saturday on the 10th of April at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time and 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So mark your calendars. I'm gonna be live for about an hour or so. You guys can come on in, ask all of your questions. I'm gonna be live, I'll be able to answer it right and then and there. Just come by, say hello, just chat with me. I'd love to interact more with you guys. Just a small way of showing some gratitude and a big thank you for all the support that you have just showered on this channel. It really wouldn't have been possible without the help and support of each one of you. And I'm so glad that we're building this community. But that's about it. If you have any questions related to this video or anything I spoke about here about the scholarships, specific CSS portal or whatever, feel free to put them in the comments below or reach out to me through my Instagram DM. I try to make sure I answer to each and every one of you. But until then, stay safe, take care, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.